Twitter sphere, what's up?
Joel Matip is out for the remainder of the season.
Oh, there we go.
That's not breaking news.
It's true. It's not breaking news. Well, I don't think anyone thought it would be the remainder of the season.
Yeah,
it's breaking ankles.
I didn't think that either. Wow, that's his glass.
That's from Ian Doyle, which, as he points out, probably influenced a couple of decisions today.
That would be very valid. So he must have been playing on some injured ankles for a while there. Back to the Spurs game there. The second goal, Trent's goal. I mean, rocket a shot, great attack in there. But again, Lloris, I don't want to say it's horrible rebound control, but he put it right into play there. You got to put that out of bounds or hold on to it. It wasn't probably something you could have held on to. So that really was bad there. And Mane's goal, Ronan just missed the clearance. Like it was a weird He's running back, though. He's running back, so it's hard. I'm going to give him that. And I think the key thing that I love here is that these are errors. Well, maybe not the first one. They were caused by Liverpool pushing forward and having that attacking atmosphere. So they made a mistake because they're put in that position. Now, more importantly, for that, those are a lot of my goods, a couple of my bads. The ugly portion is that we need to do some education here today. So there was a long debate today. I shouldn't say long debate, but Højbjerg's goal, that was our fault. That was Liverpool's fault. And I have brought visual evidence. And I'm doing a little audio presentation, or visual presentation, audio for you guys listening here. So anybody who's watching this may be able to see the screen in the back here. If not, it's okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, if you're listening, you're only going to get to see John and I's, or listen rather to John and I's reaction.
And I'm going to highlight here with 5 different pictures on the problem of what has happened with Liverpool's conceding goal here.
So I will say, JP, after that wonderful presentation that our listeners unfortunately didn't get to see, I think you have a valid point. Bit of a take that I think you and I are both agreed on is the one midfielder particularly at fault in the build-up to Højbjerg's goal was certainly Thiago. Mm-hmm. Now, you know me, I don't like making knee-jerk assessments of things. I don't think I've ever done that before. But yeah, I don't know how well Thiago is working out.
All right, guys, stop right there. Stop right there, because this was going to be one of my hot take questions, and since you brought it up there, I am going to bring this up to you guys now so we can each have a chance. So, John, just hold your horses while I pull up a quick stat here. So, Thiago, aside from being at fault for that play there, and I sent this to you guys earlier, he's had 20 fouls in 8 games. 2.5 per game, which leads the league. He beats everybody in the top 5 fouls per game. Ironically, Højbjerg is number 2. Or number 1 with fouls, 40 of them. 0 assists, 0 goals, 2 yellows, 20 fouls in 8 games. So, guys, is he pretty much just a set of legs, or is he not? Is he just not performing?
Okay, 2 points, JP. 1, you say a player. Okay, so let's talk about you talk about how many fouls he has per game. If we are both players, let's just say we're both players for an identical soccer team with the identical starting 11 around us, and we're playing in identical positions. I play 1 game, you play 5. I make 5 fouls in that 1 game, and you make 5 fouls each game. Like the percentage of fouls per game stays the same.
This is a full season. This is a half a season. The guys that I'm comparing him to, it's 8 games. It's not like he just showed up once and did 20 fouls. And if he did 20 fouls or 5 fouls in 1 game, that's bad.
That's awesome.
These guys, Højbjerg, 40 and 19 games. Barnes, 37 and 15. Klitsch, 20 games. And Mount, 20 games. So these are not guys who just fouled 10 times in 1 game.
Okay. But my point is that, like, It is a question of how much you're weighting each individual foul versus each individual game. If you're saying he commits X number of fouls per game, yeah, absolutely. It is still a weighted stat that doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're comparing it to, okay, you do like 5 fouls in 1 game versus 0 fouls in the next. That's an average of 2.5 fouls over each game. This is a weird thing. First of all, second of all, fouls aren't necessarily. I'm not necessarily saying that a foul is a bad stat. There is such a thing as a tactical foul, and I think that's kind of what we brought him in here for. Here's my point to you.
No.
Thiago versus West Ham. Excuse me. Thiago versus West Ham. 119 touches, the most. 102 passes, the most. 15 final third entries, the most. 8 duels won, the most. 5 tackles won, the most. Fouls are a tactical tool.
Talk about cherry picking 1 game.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, we have this guy in here to be a tactical player, but also to be a bit of a bastard. We haven't had a bastard in our team, kind of like Thiago's been since Martin Skirtle. The difference between him and Martin Skirtle is he's actually a good player. So we have a good player.
I was going to say
Laverne
until you said good player. Sorry.
Yeah.
We got a player who's in here who's able to both be that guy who's able to sort of put that pressure on and take that yellow when we kind of need just a physical presence in the box. I think he's worthwhile having on the team, and we haven't seen the best of him yet.
Oh, hold on. I never said he wasn't worthwhile to have. I just said...
You just said, oh, he's just a pair of legs.
I asked the question.
Don't objectify him like that.
Is he just an extra pair of legs? For me, and granted, I didn't follow Thiago perfectly throughout his career at Bayern Munich and everything else, but he's a world-class player. I knew that much. And I knew he had creative. I knew he had touches. I knew he could thread the ball. I didn't want him on Liverpool to foul. I wanted him to make those balls to Salah, Mane, Firmino, and make something happen. Ben, where do you think on this? And again, I'm not against having him.
I mean, again, I know I'm really bad at this, but I just kind of agree with both of you guys.
Get off the fence.
I'm sorry. I mean, but I know it's bad. But look, John, you bring up a lot of good points. I think some of the stuff he creates in a game is huge. I think what he's giving us is not what we paid for. He's still giving us good stuff. It's not like he's complete trash. It's just not what we thought we were getting. So I think we're going about it with certain expectations, which aren't necessarily accurate.
That's fair, maybe.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of where I stand on that. I would like to see him do a little bit more than he's doing, probably foul a little bit less. But for the passes he's making and the chances he's creating, I absolutely love it.
Eventful day of transfers, a hell of a game against Spurs, and now let's recap the winning streak. Can we call it a winning streak? Is 2 games a streak?
Well, technically, yes.
Matching win, another 3-1 victory. So 6 goals in 2 games, as opposed to 1 in the last 5. That's definitely a welcome change. And one of my, I shouldn't say my favorite center back pairing we've had this year, but Hendo and Phillips, I was quite happy with the 2 of them back there. I thought they did great, as good as we can expect out of those guys. Hopefully we won't have to rely on it too much longer. But another win to a lackluster West Ham. And I'll be honest, I was expecting a little more out of West Ham because they were on a big run. So this really deflated them. But yeah, a 3-1 victory jumps us up the table there, 3rd place, 7 points back behind City if they win that game in hand. Ben, you got a good, the bad, and the ugly of this match too, or what?
Yeah, I'll try to be pretty quick on this one. I think the bad / the ugly was the first half. I mean,
oh yeah, sloppy.
It wasn't even so much sloppy as it was just completely boring. I mean, I'm amazed I didn't fall asleep. Obviously, the good is the second half. Mm-hmm. And speaking of that second goal, like just erotic. That was like football porn. You know what I mean? Like you got that the initial pass from Trent, perfectly placed to Shaq. Mm-hmm. Shaq just basically touches the ball and then perfectly places it like onto Mo Salah's feet, and then he just taps it in.
Let me jump on that Trent pass for a second. When he hit it, did you think that was perfect?
Well, it's perfect in retrospect.
It was exactly. It was such great space. It was so far ahead of them where Shaq ran onto it, and I think a lot of people thought, "Oh, he's going to take a second touch."
Yeah,
and no,
he didn't. That's true. No, but that second goal. I mean, I think it's not going to win goal of the season. It won't win the Puskas because it's not a flashy or pretty goal. But I think from a very technical perspective,
yeah,
that was near perfection. Also, the good. I'll do 2 more goods. Nat Phillips, great game. Which is actually unfortunate now that we brought in 2 new center backs because you gotta kind of feel for the guy.
Well, maybe he's the experienced vet now.
That's
he's
true.
Take Kabak under his wing.
Actually, no. Ben Davies is the most senior of the center backs now at 25 years old. And then you just got to give it to the James Milner touchline experience. That was something.
Let's save the Millie response for a second because I got something I want to bring up on that end.
Okay, that was just okay. I'll just say it was lovely to see.
We'll definitely devote some time to that.
All right, so there are cliches in this world. Actions speak louder than words. The grass is always greener on the other side. A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man.
Very cromulent
It's a perfectly cromulent phrase. The reason that they're so popular is because they're so often true. And in this game, to use a cliche, this was a game of 2 halves. The first half was boring, but I think that this was boring in a way that what I was a whole lot more comfortable with. I didn't watch this game live, went back and watched it, so maybe I just have the benefit of knowing what the final score line was, but it did seem like the type of game where we were kind of comfortable figuring out what West Ham was doing in the first half and then capitalizing that on the second. We did that so many times last season. Kind of felt like a return to form for Liverpool.
I'll definitely agree with that. That half looked like a proper Liverpool half.
Yeah, so this is perhaps like the most informed team that we faced since Spurs before Christmas. And to me, each goal was better than the last. I know that the second goal, like Ben, that was your goal of the game. For me, it was the third. I thought Salah's first goal was beautiful. The second goal was a stroke of brilliance, and that puts Salah into the first Liverpool player since Ian Rush to score 20-plus goals in 4 straight seasons. He is the most underrated attacker in the Premier League today, period.
John, we'll save this for another episode, but I will refute the claim he's underrated.
You just say Salah's underrated?
Yeah, I know you're on this take a lot. He's one of the most popular football players in the world. He's number 1 in
the league. He's the highest paid player on Liverpool.
And people want to offload him for a chance of getting Mbappe.
Yeah, and this is why you should not be on Twitter.
John, that is just a shitty take. I'm sorry.
Anyhow.
But we'll save this for another episode.
We'll save this for another time.
JP, take a note.
But to me, that third goal was the type of and it just might be a preference thing for me, just a thing of beauty. Mm-hmm. You have a ball coming in, Bobby gets a hold of it, Bobby goes to Ox back heels in a way like just a one-touch back heel.
I thought that was Bobby.
Back to Bobby.
I gotta say,
one-touch back heel back to Bobby to Genie, masterful. I
just gotta say really quickly about old Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, old AOC, really good on the left wing.
Oh God, yeah.
I thought you were going to knock him because his back heel had a slight deflection, which still it
was a bit of a lucky
and
deflection.
I still got the other.
Still a lucky deflection, indeed.
No, I think Bobby still had it, even if it wasn't deflected. He still had it.
I saw your joke there, Ben.
I got it too there as I was trying to jump in.
Just absolutely beautiful goal though. To me, this was the kind of game that was a statement for Liverpool. It's an informed team, doing better than they have really any right to do. And they've been playing well all season, West Ham, finding goals, finding wins in places that they would never expect to see them. They were at the top of the form table going into this game. Look out. Hide your kids. Hide your pregnant wives. Trent Alexander-Arnold is back. That's my big takeaway from this game.
Way too early to call that.
He is back.
For me, that's way too early to call. Definitely played a great game. I'm trying to think if I actually knocked him at all.
I did repeatedly.
Quite remember.
But I will say, you know me, I don't make knee-jerk statements. But totally on board with you, John. He's back, 100%. Huge redemption.
Look out the rest of the Premier League because you have Trent coming back. You have Mo scoring again. You have, like I say, you have Shaqiri playing in the form of his life. And you talk about that ball to Shaqiri maybe being overhit. Shaqiri's ball to
I don't think
Salah.
it was overhit. I thought it was perfect. No. But the first instinct when you see it, you look at it, it's like, oh, that's way in the space. It's going to take some time. But because Shaq is playing well, Trent's playing well, he knows just one lob it in, and Mo's got it, and it's in the net. That was just beautiful.
And I think it's the same thing. You look at the ball from Shaq to Mo. He hit that, and
it had a drop.
It goes so high, and it's just pitch. It's just inch perfect. Mo is able to control it, and don't get me wrong. I think you're right, Ben. In anybody else, that's a Puskas scoring goal.
So for me, the key thing, and I mentioned after your first point there, John, was that this was vintage Liverpool. Quick decision making. They kept the intensity up. They didn't dilly-dally and hold it back and rip it around. And when they did possess and come around the back, they penetrated through the middle to try to make something else happen as opposed to just lobbing the crosses in. Because those slow-paced games just kill them. It just drags them out way too long. One thing that, and this might be on the Salah take there, he's not really celebrating or smiling after his goals.
I think that is entirely I think he's just been burned too many times by VAR. I genuinely think that.
Well, he did get that interview after the West Ham game about how he said, and I quote, I don't want to say anything bad because I might get fined, but I don't agree with VAR. It's taking the fun out of football. I honestly kind of hope is because it's such an ice cold fucking cool move to just be stone-faced after you score. I really hope that's the reason.
He just pulls a mic out of his pocket and drops it after the goal.
That's what I really hope it is. And you know what? He has had that celebration in the past. where he just kind of like stares ahead and lets everybody else kind of crowd around him.
I just think back to that Man U goal from Allison, where he just rips off his shirt, and you look at him, holy crap, he's ripped. He was just running around shirtless there, and that was a proper celebration. Now, the best celebration, though, had to be on the touchline.